All right, we're going to talk about one of the most important concepts when it comes to marketing, and it's called market message media match. Now, this is not something that I created. I got it from Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy didn't create it either. This is a basic concept that's been going around for generations. Dan Kennedy's written about it in his marketing newsletters for many decades. And it's a concept that I think is really important. Most business owners don't get it. So I'm going to explain it to you so you can get it and you can understand what I'm talking about, okay? It's really simple. The problem is you have to go in order. Market, message, media. The main problem is, and this applies, you could say this is probably one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make when it comes to marketing their businesses. And I mentioned this in my other video on the biggest mistake people do in marketing their business. And this is the video that I reference as far as you watching it and understanding what it is I'm talking about. Because what happens is people jump market, they jump message, and they jump right into media, which is a big mistake. Let me explain. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look at your market. Number one, your market, if you don't have a market, you don't have a business, okay? You have to look at your market so that you can determine who's going to buy your product. I've seen so many businesses fail in this area where they have what looks like a really good idea, but nobody's interested in it. I don't care how good it is if nobody's interested in it. If they don't want to buy what you got, you don't have a business. So you have to have that. You have to have a market. So once you do have a market, once you have a product that is sellable, marketable, you break it down into 5 areas. You look at the geography, you look at the demography, the demographics, you look at the geodemo mix, you look at the affiliation, and you look at the 5th, which is the most important way to break down your market, and that is your past clients. I'm going to go through each one really quick. So your geography. So does your business rely on geography? Or is it international or global, or is it regional, or is it provincial or statewide? Whatever it is, you have to determine where they are physically located. So the geography, obviously, some businesses are really dependent on geography. If you have a fast food place, people drive by. They may not drive in 30 miles away to come to your place. Maybe not, but likely not. So it's an important consideration. That way, you're going to target your audience and you'll know where they are geographically speaking. Demographics is important too, because that determines gender, whether or not they have 2-3 kids, they live in the suburbs or in a high rise, all basic facts about them. So when you look at that, you have a better sense of who your client is, your typical target market. Combine the two, geographic and demographic combined, then you have a geographic area with your specific demographically described ideal client. Know what I mean? So those two. And actually those are the two on the low, they're lower on the totem pole. The third area, so we got geography, demography, a mix of the two. The fourth one is affiliation. So affiliation is, let's say you're in a club or an organization or something you have in common, or something that is that they can relate to that has to do with what it is you're all about. So for example, let's say you're in a Rotary Club, or let's say you're in Toastmasters, or let's say you're part of the YMCA, or whatever club, or you're in the neighborhood, or there's just something that you have in common with somebody else, and you can come up to them and say, hey, fellow Kingsmen, look what I got. You might think this is a small item, but it's actually very important. So your affiliation marketing is really important, and also will apply in many different areas when it comes to sponsorship and or pursuing the ideal client. Now, if you know where they are geographically speaking, you know the demographics, and then you also have an affiliation with them, man, you're firing on all pistons now. That's pretty good. So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one is the most important area. Okay, let's recap real quick. Geography, demography, a mix of the two, affiliation. The fifth one is your past clients. That is the most valuable of all the target markets of all of them, because obviously you have a relationship with them. Assuming you did a good job, assuming they're happy, they'll want to come back to you. So when you market to that group, it is the easiest, the most profitable, and the most efficient way with which you can approach them. Instead of going cold, they know you, they respect you. So for example, let's say you send out a newsletter. Well, hey, this is, Joe the plumber is sending me a newsletter. How cool is that? Or whatever the communication is, whatever the offer is. Okay, so that's the first step. That's your market, determining who your market is. Second step is your message. So a real easy way to consider your message is this. Ask yourself this hypothetical question. What is it about my product or service? Why should I being the client, the prospect, come to you, your business, your service, over all other options? You might think of it as unique selling proposition. I've heard that many times. I don't like that term, but you know what I mean, right? So what is it about you that distinguishes you from everybody else? And if you work on price alone, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You have to find ways with which that you can stand out. When you do that, you start to create a message. And I talked about the California-based, the home builder who had the 1-year guarantee, who almost at the end of the 1 year, they would call the clients up and say, your 12 months is almost over. Is there anything we can do to, because it won't cost you anything if you want us to honor the guarantee. That is a cool way with which somebody can create a message. There's many ways with which you can do that. Some of them are pretty mundane. We've been in business since 1910 or something stupid like that. I mean, it doesn't relate to people. Business owners think that's important, but it's not. You want to find ways with which it's relatable. And that's where I come in. I can help you do that. Come up with and a lot of businesses already have that. Whether you're a lawyer, an accountant, whether you're a convenience store or a restaurant, it doesn't matter. You have to make a list of all the things that distinguish you. Why should I, the client, the prospect, go to you over all options? Whether it's a guarantee, whether it's a trust is a big one with a lot of different areas. If it's going to solve a problem, they say the bleeding neck syndrome. If a client, it's just a figure of speech, but if the client has a real problem and you have the solution to that problem, and that could be part of your message. So that's number 2. So we've got market, message. Media is the third step. And this is the problem. People jump into media right away. Media is the delivery mechanism of that message to that market. Did you get that? Media is the delivery mechanism, the way with which you get that message to that market. Okay? Most business owners skip number 1, skip number 2, jump right into number 3. They may have the other 2 by default ready, just because they fluked out by it. But if you approach it strategically, if you have a strategy and you approach it using those 3 steps, market, message, media. Now media is TV, billboards, print ads. If I had a client who I was convinced wanted what I would have to offer, or fairly convinced, and I went up to their door and rang the doorbell, if they recognized me because they were at my place before, I have trust, I have a rapport. Remember, we talked about past clients? And I said, hey, Mrs. Jones, we've got this new thing. Are you interested? Well, first of all, they're going to be open and they're going to listen to what I have to say, and they may just purchase or act on the particular offer, if you think about it. So that's a hypothetical situation, but you understand what I'm saying. Media, walking to the door, is a form of media. Calling up a client is a form of media. Running ads is a form of media. Putting up TV commercials is a form of media. Radio commercials is a form of media. Very expensive. So you got big media, and then you've got affordable guerrilla style marketing, which is what I like. That could be direct mail, that could be email, that could be phoning up clients, and of course the granddaddy of them all, social media. It works like gangbusters, but you have to use it a certain way. You have to follow the first 2 steps and build your business up so that you have something to say to the right client using the right media. Market, message, media. Always follow in those steps and in that order. Thanks.